director for Chico Start. And this week is Global Entrepreneurship Week. If you didn't know, if we haven't sent you enough email yet with that, right? With that, we are hosting as a local chapter for Global Entrepreneurship Network. We are hosting several workshops, this being one of them. So thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate it. Before we have Mark get started, let's have everybody introduce themselves, please. And then Logan, we'll have everybody on Zoom in the room first the roomers and then the Zoomers. Okay?
Perfect.
Okay, deal? Yeah, all right. Did I say rumors first or Zoomers first?
You said first the rumors.
My name is Pontus. I'm a student at Bute College and I come from Sweden. And I play soccer here for the football team.
Welcome, Pontus. Are you excited about Friday?
I don't really know about Friday.
World Cup.
Oh, the World Cup. Yeah, of course. I am.
Too excited.
Hello, everyone. I'm Stone, and I'm a Chico State student. And I've heard Mark speak before, so I'm excited.
But not about this.
Not about this, but
I'm Jennifer Nelson and I'm an instructor at Butte College.
I'm Sierra Hernandez and I work for Hignal and Experts in Your Home. So I manage their social media. I'm excited for this class.
Nice.
My name is Paige. I'm a student at Butte College. I'm in a couple of Jennifer's classes. So when she told us about this, I was very excited because I want to start a business and think that this is going to be really important.
I'm Steven. I go to Butte College. I also go to her classes. I'm a computer science major and hope to maybe start my own business someday or just stop conflicts with the marketing team.
I like it. Yeah, great.
I'm Rochelle. I go to Butte College. I am one of Jennifer's students and sort of question thoughts.
Awesome.
Lucas, and I'm taking a class with Jennifer as well.
Okay, great.
Lucas is like a fantastic artist, by the way.
Ooh.
Like muralist artist. I mean, you'll meet him after this.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Great. And now on Zoom, let's have people introduce themselves. Let's start with Erica Hughes, please.
Hi, my name's Erica. I'm in one of Jen's classes at Butte too.
Okay, great. You get to pick the next person, Erica.
Mariah Dollar.
Hi, I'm Mariah. I'm also one of Jen's students at Butte College.
Okay, great. Thank you. And you get to pick the next one, Mariah. It's interactive.
Sorry, I'm making it worse. There we go.
How about Jump High?
Yeah.
I'm Butte College student and I'm also Jennifer's class.
Very nice. All right. Right. And Steve Russell.
Hi, I'm a Silicon Valley successful serial entrepreneur, and I retired some time ago, and now I've got some stuff going. I need to learn about this social media stuff.
Well, welcome, Steve.
You're in the right.
Thank you.
All right. And who else do we have on there? Do we have Mohammed?
I think that was
I think I have. He's been on since before I left the house.
it's everyone I see here. But speak
Okay.
up if we
Is
missed
there
you.
anyone else that we missed? Besides 2 pictures of me. No? Okay. All right. So with that, let's give Mark a big hand for being here. Woo-hoo! Thank you, Mark.
Okay, you Zoomers, like you can legit hear my voice well, like you're not like straining and doing this. Okay, Mariah's nodding her head. I'm gonna go with Mariah.
All right.
All right, 3 simple hacks to get more customers from social media. We're gonna talk about this. I'm super pumped to be here. Let's make sure my clicker is working.
Yes.
Did it work? Or was that just delayed?
Let's do this. Does it work now?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there we
It's
go.
working.
We're in business.
In business. All right, so who's this for? Entrepreneurs, obviously. So anybody who is an entrepreneur or aspiring to be an entrepreneur, listen up, this is for you. This is for anyone who oversees or runs marketing or social media specifically. Or if you like hire somebody else to do marketing, like this is stuff that you can like tell them to do right away. So our goal is to show you, we're going to talk about 3 easy moves that you or your team can do the social media starting today, right now. You could like whip your phones out and like do this as we're going even. That's gonna get you more customers and getting them coming back more often. All right, so my name is Mark Sorenson. I am the founder and CEO of Social High Rise. We manage social media for restaurants. That's what we specialize in. So much of what you'll see here comes from the context of like a brick and mortar restaurant business. But the principles that I'm going to share apply to basically every type of business. So you got to use your imagination a bit and like make the jump from restaurant to your business. And it's probably won't be that hard. You'll probably get it pretty easy. We've done this for 10 years. We've done this for hundreds of restaurants all over the country in just about every state. We love what we do. We love the restaurant industry. We're very passionate about it. We're very good at it too, it turns out. Like we do good work. And so I'm going to share with you like some of the things that we do for our clients that are maybe a little bit more tricky and secretive and maybe not so obvious. But after I share them, you'll be like, oh yeah, no duh. Of course, that makes sense. All right, so a couple of things. First of all, as a business, it's important to know this. Your most profitable customers, they are on social media. Straight up. They are the ones who are, and I'll say it like this. If somebody likes your business enough to follow you on social media, they are a fan of yours, like a true fan. They've gone out of their way to follow and hear what you have to say. So they're not just rando people who are a part of your following. They are people who are your most profitable. They're the ones writing great reviews. They're the ones who are recommending your products or your service to other people, spreading word of mouth, and wanting to follow along with your story. So this group of social media customers, they're your best ones. 65% of revenue comes from the top 25% of loyal customers. So this is a stat. Let that one sink in. Like, let's just draw it here. 65% of your revenue comes from this group. It's like almost the 80-20 rule, right? That's ridiculous. That means you have the lion's share of your revenue as a business coming from a tiny segment of your customers. Well, guess who those 25% are? They're the people who follow you on Instagram and Facebook, the people who write reviews, the people who recommend you. That's who they are. That's who they are. So when you're talking on social media, that is the audience that you are talking to first. They're not people who don't know who you are, who are learning about you. They're people who very much know who you are. They're regular customers. They are repeat buyers. They are, they're engaged with you. They're on your beta list for new features and products that come out. That's who you're talking to. And so they're there not necessarily to be sold to, but to engage with your business. All right, this is a cool one. You can influence your customers to purchase more often. How do we know this? Because 78% of purchase decisions are influenced by social media. That's no joke. 78%. How many of you have bought something on Instagram? Be honest. Be honest. How many of you like mildly regretted it afterwards? It's okay. Yeah, the quality. Oh, that's so great. The fit, a little boxy. Whatever. But they got you, right? They target you. If we're making like bigger purchases, bigger ticket items, like we're before we even buy anything, our buyer journey starts often on the internet, on social media. We're doing the research. We're trying to figure out what are other people wearing, what are other people doing, what products are they using. Like we're looking around. We're keeping tabs, and social media is a big source of that. So this is true. So it needs to be respected. All right, so check this one out. Your customers are already talking about you online. Even if you're a startup, there are people who, we'll say you're a startup with like just a few customers. They probably have talked about you online. If you're an existing, more established business, 100% customers are talking about you online. Might not all be good, but they are talking. Sometimes it is good. And this is how we know you do it. Anybody done this before? You take a food selfie. Maybe flip the camera and then you're in it. Yeah. Even if you didn't share it on social media, but you've done it, right? And you see people who do it as an example. Or this, where guy tags his products in his Instagram. Seen that? If people do this every single, I've done this and I don't actually even care personally to do this, but I still do it. Because guess what? Because I want these brands to hopefully, maybe see me and say something. Maybe talk about that more later, actually. All right, this came from the Restaurant Leadership Conference, which is obviously for restaurants, but this trend is these things are just as applicable everywhere. So the big thing that came out of it was guests want personalized experiences from restaurants, and we'll just say from businesses. They want something that's personalized. That is different than customization. So your brand might do things different than their brand. That's the customized experience. The personalized experience is something that's unique to the individual. And that's what people want more and more, especially the upcoming generations of purchasers. And the second one, they want to spend money with businesses who share their common values. If you pay attention to the news, there are companies that like make mistakes, do something wrong. There's artists who say something they shouldn't, perhaps. There's that happens, right? And what happens to them? Many of the people who don't agree with what they say or don't like resonate with what they're doing, they lose interest. They leave and go somewhere else. And the reverse is true. When you find you all have brands that you wear or you drive or you buy, whatever, where their image, what they're putting out, you care about that. Lucas has a Patagonia shirt on. Why did you buy an expensive Patagonia turtleneck that looks so good on you?
I think my mom got it at the outlet store.
And why did your mom get it? Do you think?
Because it was on sale and she thought I'd like it.
It's so good. Do you know anything about Patagonia?
Yeah.
What do you like about Patagonia?
That I know they're a good company. And
They're a good company.
Yeah.
And you, right, like, I think most of us have figured that out. For Patagonia, they've done a great job at letting us all know they care about the world, care about the earth. They're trying to be carbon neutral or positive, negative, whatever it is. Carbon something.
and I like it even more because when I went to the outlet store, they were playing reggae. And
Damn.
That's
Dude,
what
reggae at the outlet store. Lucas is here like that. Right, so like at some level, Patagonia resonated with you. Like that's why your mom gave it to you and then you actually wore it, right? Because she probably have other clothes she bought you.
Actually, I might have bought this, to be honest. I can't remember.
That we're talking tonight.
I'm just teasing you. Yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make, is that we do this already. Okay, so let's talk about social media. At the end of the day, social media is about these things. It is about customer service. It's about people, relationships. It's about being authentic. It's about being like transparent as a brand. It's about the human connections that we feel with each other. That's what it's about. It's about like conversations, two-way conversations. And this is a mistake that I see many, many marketers make and many entrepreneurs make with their brands, is they think that social media is just this selling tool, and that's it. And so that's what they're doing on social media, selling, selling, selling. And they're treating customers like an ATM machine. I'm just gonna keep trying to withdraw and withdraw. But what's unique about social media that other traditional marketing doesn't have is this ability for the customer to say something back. How many of you have like chatted back with a billboard? Oh, nobody. It's crazy. Or a magazine. You guys like giving them the feedback. TV commercials. No, like traditionally, like we don't do that.
No, I just yell at the commercials. Like, really, it hears me. It's so frustrating.
Right, right. But social media, you can like it, engage with it, comment back, private message. there is dialogue that goes back and forth. And many brands forget that. And because there's this dialogue, there can be relationships in customer service. So if your brand is not focused on these things first as a goal, strategy, you're really like missing the magical part of social media. The stuff that like unlocks the word of mouth and the viral views or whatever you're going for. This is how you unlock it. All right. Now, ideally, we're doing all these things, right? We're updating our hours and our menus and our products and our services on Yelp and on Google and on every other service on Amazon. And we're doing all of it, right? And we're posting regularly on social media. We're engaging with our guests online, like ideally in an ideal world, this is what we're doing, right? This is the goal. But it's not always that simple because many times we don't have time to do it. That is a real thing. The content monster is constantly hungry. That's true. Social media never sleeps. So there's always this need to put more. You ever feel like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, never sleeps. So you do all this hard work and then you have to do it all over again the next week, right? And sometimes you just don't know exactly what to do. Like there's no playbook, right? So if you are worried about these things or these things get in your way, don't worry, because guess what? Your customers are already talking about you online. You just need to know where to find them, where to see where that happens. Your content has already been created for you, believe it or not. You just got to know where to look for it. And there's an easy button. So let's get into it. You ready? Should we get into it? You ready? Should we do this? Should we talk about these 3 secret hacks, these easy moves? I love marketing language. All right, let's talk about this first one. Number 1, acknowledge customers who tag your business. Okay, we're going to go deep on this because there's a lot of ways to do this. On Instagram, customers can tag you in 2 ways. They can tag your profile, so like at whatever your handle is, and they can tag your physical location if you have a physical location. If you don't, then they can. But if you do, then they can. So for restaurants, for salons, spas, computer repair shops, anyone who has a brick and mortar business, they can also tag your location. Sometimes these are referred to as like a check-in, right? For the check-in. All right, so when they do this, you can actually see all of the content that your business is tagged in. So this is a restaurant. It's in New York City called Chirp. This is their Instagram grid. We're going to use them as an example today to show you how to do this. So here's their grid. And the first thing you do to find the photos that your profile is tagged in is you click that little button on your phone. And then you go here. And now you've got a whole nother grid of content from people, including yourself, that have tagged your handle, right? That's it. That's where one of these categories are. And if you notice, like, these are good photos. Like Chirp didn't make any of that. These are like customers' photos. They're doing a pretty good job. Not all of them are fantastic. Some of them are kind of crummy, but some of them are really good, right? Here's a second way. So up at the top, there's the search bar. Search for your business. Find the one that has your address tied to it. Click on it. And now you've got a whole nother grid of photos where people have tagged your location and that you can see where people have checked in, right? Now, let's be honest, like a lot of these photos, they're not tagging Chirp for Chirp's sake. They didn't do it for them. They did it for themselves. Like Chirp just happened to be the venue of their experience. They were, whatever they were doing, right? But they tagged it so that people, their network knew, hey, I'm at Chirp doing my thing. This is where I am. I'm checked in. So this is a really, really great source of content. Yes.
Do you have any control on what to hide? Like what if it's?
Say this louder.
What if, do you have any control to hide any of those photos if they're obscene?
No.
Okay.
They're obscene.
No.
You don't. You don't have control. Yeah. Nope. you don't. Yeah. Okay, so here's your tagged photos. And like I said, these are good photos. They're doing a good job. So this is how you engage with your customers or your guests that tag your business. You go to one of these photos. It's tricky. Follow me here. Pull out your finger and you go like this. And now you've acknowledged your customer online. And this guy, Gian Cabru, who's celebrating his birthday here, it looks like. Good photo, right? It's a good photo. And dude's doing his thing. Like, this is a great example of Chirp's story. It tells so much about what can happen at Chirp. People can celebrate birthdays with ballin' looking cakes. And guy about to blow them all out. Like, you can do that there. So when you hit like, if they were to have done that, Gian Cabru is going to get a little notification saying, sure, like your photo. And what do you think that does for Gian Cabru? What do you think his level of affinity for Chirp, where do you think it goes?
Oh, it's been acknowledged. So it goes on.
It goes to this, to the moon is where it goes. Feels good. We'll talk more about that too. Okay, so like their comments, acknowledge your customers, like their comments and their photos. So you can like even the comments that people write. So if people are commenting on your content, what should you do? Like those comments. Unless you really don't like those comments. Then hide those comments. I don't know. All right. Let's talk about the second one. This is a customer photo also for Chirp. Now, look, do you think Chirp is going to use this to tell their story perhaps? Maybe, maybe not. Half drunk bottle of Patentos sitting on the table. I don't know. But pay attention to what's going on here. So you've got, you can't read all of it, but the story here is homegirl sitting at the bus stop, taking the mega bus, and she's saying, this is my favorite place to go to when I go into the city. It's right by the bus stop. Great. Well, check this stuff out. These are her friends who are saying, that sounds delicious. You never tell me about that. And then this is my favorite. I just went there because of this post. Do you think Chirp even knows about this? I doubt it. I don't even know. Would they be interested to know? Yeah, absolutely. They should know. It's irresponsible, in my opinion. It would. I just went there because this post, it was delicious. Boop, boop. It's not hard work. It's work. It's not hard work. You just have to go look for it. Okay. And then you could say something like, oh my goodness, we love this. And this person who is a friend of your customer who you found third party is going to have like their mind on because they got paid attention to in like a fairly obscure way. That do brands do this very often? They don't. So if your brand does this and your competitors don't, you are winning them. You're winning on the social media. All right, comment on their photos. Okay, so let's talk about this phenomenon. And hold on. And by the way, all of these photos that you saw, you can legally and otherwise use that content to tell your own brand story. You can use those photos to say something else or pair with a review snippet or to use their caption. You can create your own content on your own page by leveraging what your customers are already posting about you. It's easy. All right. Question. You got
I
it.
just have one question. Do you think?
Say it loud for them.
Oh, do you think we should also be acknowledging people who have not positive things to say on social media about us?
Yes. Yes.
I've seen a lot of that, actually. I've seen a lot of people saying, kind of like trying to take an empathetic,
you know, the company will respond in such a way that's empathetic.
100%. And guess what that's called? Customer service.
Yeah.
That's what that is. So yes, 100%. Like anyone who acknowledges your brand, for the good, for the bad, or the ugly, your brand should say something back. And ideally, if it's negative, you could probably try to move that conversation out of the public eye into like a private chat, DM. Yeah, that would probably be a wise move. So you don't have a public spat. And people do weird stuff when they know everybody's listening. If you pull them aside, they stop getting crazy. That's crazy. All right, so what happens when you do this as a brand? Now remember, like, brands are made of people, companies are people. So you as people are doing this, but it feels to them like the brand is doing this. Right? What happens? This is what happens. First thing, when they see that notification, bam, little serotonin trickles down their neck. Endorphin hit. Woo. Get a little chills like you are right now. Shit is kind bad. They feel special, they feel valued, they feel happy. They're feeling like good, like, wow, I got acknowledged. They start to develop an irrationally fierce loyalty for your brand. That's what it does. I have a small story to tell you about this. So this is like 12 years ago. I was eating a Safeway sandwich, $5 sandwich, chips, and a drink. Whatever. It was like a deal. And I was like, I have $5. Great, lunch is done. And it was a good sandwich, surprising. Look at that. Now, I was so stoked that I went to Twitter and I was like, I'm enjoying this ballin' sandwich with chips at Safeway, just tag them. And like an hour later, Safeway replied to my tweet and they said, we're so happy that it was a great sandwich or something like that. Now look, I am smart. I know that the CEO of Safeway was not on Twitter that day talking to me. I know there was probably an intern or somebody junior level whose job it was to do exactly that. But even still, I had this irrational loyalty for Safeway, and I actually don't like to shop at Safeway at all. And I try to avoid it because they're always out of something that I want. There's always long lines. There's riffraff going on. So I go to Rayleigh's, like, who cares? And even still, I find myself like struggling to not go to Safeway because we tweet. We tweet. What's up? What's up, Safeway? Yo, you want to talk to Safeway? I got this. That's how I feel, and I felt for a decade. It's irrational. It's crazy, but it is real. It's powerful and strong, and it lasts for a long time. So think about what would happen if, as a business, you were able to do that for 1, 2, 3, 10, 100 customers, onesie, twosie, over time. What would happen to your business? It would grow.
How do you like personally, because correct me if I'm wrong, like you guys don't really sell a physical product.
Us?
So yeah. So like, how are you, like, what are you doing to make customers or potential customers kind of excited about like your brand?
Good question. Our situation is a little different only because most of our clients, they hire us to do social media because they really suck at it. And so when that's the case, they're usually not on social media very often. We've tried and tested this, and turns out if they're on social media, they're probably doing social media for the business, most of them. But even still, we apply all of these to our own brand. Our social media is about like our company culture. We're just preaching our own gospel, sharing the things that we know, talking about who we are as a brand. We're talking about our values. We're talking about, and that's
Talking about
more.
your why.
What's that?
Talking about your why.
100%. Talking about all about who we are, and that's more that's more as like a recruiting tool, because we want people who like align with our values to come apply for our company, because we want them. That's what we're looking for. There was another
Oh,
question.
yeah, so it's more of a business to business transact thing for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And then this happens. fireworks go off in their brain. And then you get all this higher frequency, average order values go up, lifetime value goes up, they spread more word of mouth. And business is booming, baby. That's what happens when you do all of these things, right? Okay, so acknowledge customers. Got that one? That's an important one. Let's go to the next one. Number 2, leverage leverage customer content to tell your story. I mentioned this a little bit earlier. Let's get into it. So we'll use the Kitchen Step as another brand. We'll use them as an example. They're in New Jersey. Okay, so here's their Instagram profile. And again, we're going to go to the tagged photos. If you notice the switch there. So these are tagged photos from other customers. And here's their location tagged photos, right? And there's a lot of really good content out there. This almost looks like this could be their grid. It almost looks like, well, this is just all from the brand, almost, right? Because it's like really good stuff. The customers are doing good work. All right, so let's take a look at this one. That makes me hungry, first of all, because that looks awesome. And this is, I can't see it because the Zoom's covering it.
Croissant, French toast, what?
It's Andrew Loves _ brunch is my favorite Sunday activity. And what's not to love about croissant, French toast, or salmon eggs Benedict with a truffle hollandaise sauce? Where's that? And she go, get over here. Okay, so guess what? The Kitchen Step could have done this, get the photo, and they could have just straight up quoted Andrew, because they couldn't say it any better than he did. Brunch is my favorite Sunday activity. What's not to love about the croissant French toast? This is so good. And then they just give him credit for it. And guess what Andrew's gonna do? Do you think he's gonna be like, why did you use my photo? They'll never do that. In 10 years of doing tens of thousands of social media posts for almost thousands of restaurants, we've had one person complain about using someone else's photo, using their own photo. And guess what we did? Okay, delete. Cool. But legally, just so you know, legally, these photos, anything on social media that is all Creative Commons, creative license, free license. That's the terms of service for Facebook, or Instagram, and Twitter. You post it online, it's public, it's anybody's free, it's anybody's photo. Now, of course, you want to be polite about it, and you want to acknowledge them, but you don't necessarily need to ask permission. Some brands do, and I think that's an unnecessary step that bogs things down. Because who is not going to be stoked to have my photo that I took not only acknowledged by the brand, but used to help that I get put on a pedestal? Come on. I want that. So guess what customers will do? Guess what Andrew will do next time he's in town? I'm gonna go back to the Kitchen Step, and I'm gonna take another photo, and I'm gonna get real artsy about this one. I'm gonna tap it everywhere. I'm gonna see if they're gonna feature me.
It's gonna have better lighting, we're not gonna show that other place.
You can see what happens when you start to do this over and over. Customers learn that when you engage with them, they're gonna engage with you. When they engage with you, you'll engage with them, and so they want to tap more. They want that endorphin hit. They like it. All right, so that's how you leverage content, your customers' content. So your social media is like nearly already done for you. You just gotta like go grab it, throw it together, schedule and flush the toilet, you're done. Yes.
How do you designate who does what? Like, do you have somebody that's just solely doing this, like finding photos and going back and people engaging?
This would be like part of someone's job.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not a full-time job,
Yeah.
even for big brands. This is.
Right.
And if you are in a position, hopefully someday, where you have so much content to engage with, you just can't keep up, do the best you can. Or maybe if that's the case, you can afford to hire someone full-time to do that work. Yeah,
Actually, I kind of know a brand that does a lot of this stuff.
good for them.
Yeah. And so I was like, hey, wait, they do all that stuff. And it was really cool. Huh?
Nice. They are a smart brand,
Yeah.
whoever they are.
Yes, I think this is great too for like personal branding as well, we see a lot of content creators now that I think people are really like looking for authenticity and, you know, that reaction of you taking the time to you have to comment on their post or whatever it is. And then if they take the time to, you know, respond, I think I totally like can understand that endorphin hit that you get it.
Yeah.
Like, oh wow, they care that they're responding.
Exactly. Or they comment back to you, that's like gold. Yeah. I have a TikTok account where I just goof off being a runner. Don't go, don't. But if anyone
It's great,
engages
but-
there, I'm always gonna send something back, every single time. It's important. All right, number 3. Engage with customers, who engage with your competitors. We'll call this secret number 3. This is gonna be your special little hack. So like, get people who away from your competitors. Wouldn't that be nice? Okay, so here's how this works. We'll use Sticky Lips Barbecue. They're in upstate New York. I was there recently and ate some barbecue, and I was like, you guys know how to do barbecue. It was awesome. All right, so we'll pretend that Sticky Lips is our competitor, because we got Smoking Rose. And we want to draw, and of course, we want to be in the same town if you're working there, etc. But if this is somebody I compete with, and let's say that some of their customers could be and should be my customers, this is how I would help siphon them away. So I'd go to my competitor. I would click on their most recent post. Here it is. I would click on who's engaging with that post. And then I have this whole list of people. And then I find somebody like Keegan Kusma. Keegan David Kusma. Kugasma. I don't know. Call him David. Click on David's profile. And here's just David's personal profile. He's not, who knows what he's doing. I don't embrace excuses, I embrace solutions. That's what he does. Says it right there. And then we're gonna go find one of his posts. Oh, it's interesting. And she said, yes. Whoa, David. My man, good for you. And guess, as a brand, guess what we're gonna do for David? Hit the comment button and say, congratulations. Because your girlfriend said yes, and you proposed to her. Like, that's a magical moment for you. Guess what David is gonna do when he sees that Smoking Mo's, another barbecue joint, told him congratulations on proposing to his now fiance.
It's gonna switch.
At the very least, he's gonna click on, well, who are these guys? Oh, yeah, they're that restaurant, or they're that store, they're that brand. I've heard about them. Oh, I've never heard about them. Oh, interesting. Who are they? Oh, they're in town. Oh, interesting. I never knew that. Oh, follow. You got them. Now they're in your tribe. Oh, I'm gonna have to go check them out because we on Instagram together. Because they made me feel happy and special and appreciated. They made me feel seen. And that is a feeling that as humans, we all deeply, at some level, really, really want in life. We want to feel needed and appreciated, valued. And you can give that to random people, not random, strategic people who could become your customer and will become your customer because you did a better job of making them feel seen and heard than your competitor did. So now we've got acknowledged customers. We're going to leverage our customers' content. We're going to engage our competitors, customers who are on their pages, engaging with their content and getting them over on our side. And that is how we're going to get people to come more often, spend more money, increase their frequency, spread more word of mouth, and purchase more, tip better, all the things that you want customers to do more of. This is how you can get them to do it. And remember, we're talking about this group of people, the 25% who are already going to spend with you. And this is how you can just get them easily to spend more rather than constantly dumping into acquisition. Any questions about that? You can scan that, it goes to our website. I even put it, so you know.
All right, let's give him a hand. Thank you. Q&A though, please. Additional Q&A. I know we
Any
did
on the
some.
Zoomers?
Yeah, Zoomer, let's start, ask the Zoomers if they would like to ask any questions first.
Steve, did I answer your question, Steve? You're here for this, trying to figure it out.
This is Steve out here in Zoomer. You did answer my questions. A very good preso. I really appreciate it.
Good, my man.
It lets me know I better get to work.
It's a lot of work, yeah.
Yes. Hey, you can also give this list to somebody else and have them do it.
Yes, I intend to do that. I've reached the age where I do more of that than do it myself, but
I feel you, Steve.
Perfect. Perfect.
All right, Mariah.
Any other questions? Or
Ask each person on social media.
Anyone?
I have a question for your
Yes.
third tip, the engaging with customers with
You
your
got it.
competition. You don't find that a little intrusive at all? Like, it wouldn't be like a little weird for like a rib company to comment like, congratulations on your wedding post?
only if you make it weird. There is a weird way to do that, yes. But only if you make it. Yeah.
Not completely random, you know, but at least interested in barbecue.
Yeah. If you're trying to sell them, it's weird. So keep in mind that this engagement is intended to be lightweight.
Authentic.
Yes, authentic, but like very non-intrusive, non-salesy. You're not trying to say like, hey, I see you like the barbecue joint and I'm a barbecue person. Would you like to come and try my barbecue?
How much was the rate?
You're not going there at all, yeah. And I would say, don't even try to be like witty or snarky even, just be genuine, like be real. Like a fat congratulations is really hard to take that the wrong way. And make it feel weird, right? Because guess what, like that's what most everyone else said too. Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. Yes.
Would it be possible to have cooperation with other businesses, not exactly in the restaurant industry, but maybe in other industries, like maybe there's two movies, maybe they're not competing movies. So maybe like, oh, hey, if you buy, you can buy these two tickets together for blah, 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 or something like that.
Sure, absolutely. At the
That's a
very least,
special promo.
yeah, I mean, I didn't cover in these slides, but if as part of like a content strategy idea, any business, club, organization that you either buy from, they buy from you, you sponsor, donate, give back to, whether it's like you go pet the cats at the Humane Society, whatever you do, talk about that and like have a give before you get mentality where, yeah, you could do your promo without even like, without collaboration, without like an official anything from the other brand, but just like a genuine, hey, these guys are awesome. You should go to them for that meeting. We love them. It's what we do. You should do it. And you tag them. And guess what they're gonna do? No, they're gonna do back to you.
That also, what this question reminded me of something you taught me, and that is highlighting partners. Just like resharing a story from a partner that we either work with or associate with or affiliated with. And it's an authentic share, because we're like, hey, check it out. We're super happy for them. We're not promoting ourselves by doing that. We're just promoting that. But it also shows our authentic relationship and how much we appreciate our partners.
Yeah, when you become the cheerleader for your network, they all become your cheerleader in their networks. So that kind of selfless mentality, it's you'll give before you get, but you're gonna get. You just gotta give first, without any expectation, right?
I actually have two questions. First question, so you guys solely work with restaurants?
Yeah, we do have some non-restaurant clients. You wrote that.
And then my second question is, something that I really don't know where to start from is, what I want to do is type of service. And how do you suggest to find that? Like, I can't create content without having my first customer.
Sure.
So how do you suggest to go about, I mean, I can, but it's even. how do you suggest to find that first person to do your service for, I guess?
I mean, this is my advice to any entrepreneur, just you gotta just go hustle that one down. That's it. And you like. Fake it till you make it, whatever, like like, if you've got enough confidence to go out on a limb and say you're gonna start a business doing this thing. And you're gonna expect people to trust you, you just gotta act that way from the get-go with 0 customers. You're just gonna. Go find the business, go make the phone call, cold call, whatever you need to do. And tell them what you're gonna do for them. And like, someone's gonna say yes. Like, if you're putting yourself out there like that, eventually someone's gonna be like, all right, yeah, I'll give you a shot. Now you got your first customer. And just go.
Like, position yourself as an expert before you get that client and use your social media to really talk about why you are the best person to hire for this particular service. And like you said, you hustle and you get it, even if you have to give away your first.
That's always been my thought, is I would give away my first couple, even first one or first couple services, but I really want to be able to create content, like pictures of what I can do. Because of what I
Build a
specifically
portfolio,
want to
yeah.
do, but what I envision that I can do would cost a lot of money, not a lot, but it would cost a good chunk of money for me to be able to put that all together without actually it being a service. Like, it would cost a lot of money to, but I understand you have to spend money to make money, and sometimes it's
My advice is like, you'd be surprised at how far you can get with a PowerPoint slide and some shoestring. Like. You can create the idea of your service or product. You don't have to have ever done it. You don't have to, if you have, like, that's great, but. Sometimes you can't wait around for that expertise to hit you, and like, you're gonna have to practice on your clients. And that's okay. And so if you can like talk about the things that you want to do, or even like mock it up, what it would look like or what it would be, that is almost more than enough for somebody to buy. Like, for our clients, I'll tell you right now, do we sit there and show them all the work we do? No, we don't. Sometimes like we don't even want to, because they're always like, well, I don't want that. It's like, look, it's all custom. This isn't what we're gonna get. This is just, sure, look at it. Usually it's like, look, we know what we're doing. We do this for restaurants. We're damn good at it. We've been doing it forever. Hey, I'm gonna just tell you some things that you should already be doing. They're like, oh yeah, I should be doing it. Sounds like you know what you're talking about. I do. So let's just do it for you. Okay. So that's sometimes it's that easy.
This may not be related, but I think it is. But one of the other story, this is another Mark story. One of the other stories that Mark told me was that during COVID, when even some restaurants were shut down. So in other words, they weren't doing anything. What they did was told the story of what they were doing during that time. It didn't include any like restaurant type stories. It included their story of what they were actually are going through. So you could take up that. I'm not totally stretching this, but I'd love to tell the story of your starting your business.
Yeah, absolutely.
And on top of all the other things he just said, and mock-ups, for those of you who were my students, mock-ups are super important. So, yeah.
That is like literally what most brick and mortars do. If anyone with expertise were to say, how do I start my social media when I haven't done anything? We do this for restaurant openings all the time. Send us the pictures of the build out, step by step. That's great. We're gonna tell the story of how you're putting, hey, we got our liquor license, hey, we just got a permits, hey, we just got the pad, hey, there's putting up the drywall, hey, we put the paint on. You're just telling the story, and guess what? People love stories. And now they get to feel like they're part of you before you even are a thing. So
And they
yes,
can't wait for you to open.
the fact that you're here today. We're gonna take a selfie after this. And you're gonna be like, I listened to Mark and I just got learned up on some social media stuff. I'm so pumped because that's what I want to do with my life.
We'll be bringing it.
We're gonna A that today.
all right.
We're gonna post it.
I like
That's gonna be-
Okay.
We'll be bringing it. She's gonna say, and now we're gonna be bringing it.
Don't sit out.
Don't listen.
Don't guess. All right, any other questions?
Yeah. What's been,
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what's been your biggest failure?
I mean, the big failures that I like to talk about is I started a company in college. And we raised like 150K. We built this app and I lost all my investors' money and it failed. And it took like a year and a half, 2 years to fail it. And in the meantime, we just like made every dumb rookie mistake imaginable. And had a bad founding team, and had a product that was like half baked and half thought through. And that was a colossal failure. I don't like that I lost my investors' money, all of this, like, they didn't get anything for it. So that was one big failure. The second one wasn't so much of a failure, but after that experience, I went and worked for a company that manages social media for small businesses. Ever heard of that before? And I worked with their sales team. I did really well. I started managing for them. And I realized that their culture was bad culture. It was a bad place to work. It was all the isms were there. Ageism, racism, sexism, all of it. Altruism doesn't even go. It was just a bad place to be. So it was a failure. It was their failure that I was like in there for, and so I left. But that experience taught me the importance of culture, company culture. And so those are the two things that I see as like very formative in how I run Social High Rise today. But then there's like a billion other small.
Yeah.
My shoes are untied right now. Failure. It's failed. Can't even do that. Any other, yes.
Yeah, so idea number 2 was to leverage content from your customers, right? But I'm assuming you're generating your own content as well for this restaurant. So just general rule of thumb to share with everybody, how often are you posting content on various platforms?
Oh, yeah. Like 2 to 3 times per week. That's like this, maybe 4. It's a busy week. You don't need to post every day. If you go Google this, how often should I post on social media? Everyone is going to be like, every day, a couple of times a day if you can. And that advice is bad advice for anyone who doesn't have like over 100,000 followers in a national audience. Well, it's bad advice. So you don't have to feel like it's all or nothing. Like, do the best you can to start, and you'll start to get in the groove. But even if it's just 2 times per week, even if all you can do is 1 time per week, but do it. But 2 to 3, maybe 4 consistently, that is the sweet spot of frequency that is going to give you maximum engagement per post. Meaning, if you post more than that, you are an oversharer. And Facebook's algorithm, Instagram's algorithm, they will start to turn your spigot down for reach. You just won't get any of your content in front of as many people if there's too much content out there. And if you don't post, less than 2 a week, you're just not swinging about enough. You just need to be out there more often. Yeah. Good question.
Wouldn't you and your business Social High Rise combat? Like, I know Instagram kind of changed over the last year or two, like where if you refresh, like that one post you've seen is like completely gone. Like you have to go to their profile now and then look for it. And if you forgot who posted it, then like it's impossible to find. Versus like before, if you scrolled a little, it'd be there, it'd be in like chronological order. And now it's like way different. They really are. So what do you suggest? Or what do you? I don't like it if you
Just good at getting curveballs.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's one change for one platform, and we deal with like dozens of platforms that change. Some of them, Google at one point is changing with every week, with major changes to the platform. And you should figure it out. As far as like how performance wise of content, we honestly didn't notice very much of a change. I guess historically, the only dip that we really saw, and it wasn't really too much of a dip, was the whole Cambridge Analytica, Facebook changed all their privacy systems 3 or 4 years ago. That did like dip a little bit, but it's kind of like gone back to what it was for whatever reason. So we don't try to get, we can't really predict, like, they don't want us to know what they're doing in the background. So we don't try to figure it out. We just keep doing what we're doing. What we do know for sure is that most of these platforms, as they make changes, the one thing that has been true since we started business is that they are more and more prioritizing content that is authentic, about relationships, about connection, real. They're prioritizing that, and they're deprioritizing marketing and sales and content. So we've been doing that from the beginning, and our strategy overall is just played right into this idea that like social media is intended to be a place where humans connect positively. as much as there's negative sides to it. You know, it gets better because it prioritizes the good content.
Is that also because they want to get paid for advertising? So as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 100%. Yeah, they want you to pay. You want to promote something, they want you to pay for it. The marketers scream and they cry about it, but then they pay.
Is there any other questions on Zoom as we wind this down? Or any questions in the room? Any other additional questions? All right, let's give it up. Thank you all for coming. We hope you found this useful. And we will be posting a recording of this sometime next week. So if you want to go back and reread this sentence, it will be up there then. And if you'd like to, you can also join us virtually or in person for our next Wednesday at noon, which is on the diversity, equity, and inclusion strategies for small business. And with that, thank you all. Give yourself a hand for coming.
Thank you. Good job.